Hello world, welcome to Rex Arthur TV. This is the Rex Arthur Show, where we are discussing and always are discussing LGBTQ issues with an LGBTQ perspective and an LGBTQ approach and a humanistic approach in an LGBTQ plus planet. And I hope you're enjoying your Christmas holidays and Saturnalia, you know, and and your happy holidays for the atheists out there who don't like using it, saying Merry Christmas. They say Happy Holidays. I hope you're enjoying. And we are here going to do a series called the Global Third Sex. And we're going to go through the eunuchs of the world in different regions of the world and in religions. In every religion, there are third sex. There is a third sex, the eunuchs. And Christianity has eunuchs, Islam has eunuchs, Hinduism has eunuchs, Buddhism has eunuchs, everything. Even an atheist, you can have an atheist eunuch. And who is a eunuch? This is a male who has been castrated, or I could say also a very feminine woman, or a woman who is really not fit to be in the group of what you could call a normal woman. That's how I would put it. And Wikipedia says Hijra is a term given to eunuchs, intersex people, and transgender people in the Indian subcontinent. I think I prefer that definition. And also known as Aruvani, Jagapa, mythological beings that excel at song and dance. So they are very good at singing, they are very good at dancing, and I could add they are very good at drama. So now this is very important. It's a term given to eunuchs, number one. Those are castrated males. Number two, to intersex people. And number three, to transgender people. Now, why is this very important to stress? It's important to stress because some intersex people, it's very hard to know what is their sexual orientation. Because some intersex people can be heterosexual, they can be bisexual, or they can be gay, homosexual. So it's very weird. Can you imagine an intersex has a vagina and a penis? For example, the external intersexuality. You have a vagina and an external vagina and an external penis. Or if it's a lady, your clitoris looks like a penis. It is like a penis. And you may not have really balls, but you may have a clitoris that looks like a penis. It's hanging on top of the vagina. And then you have a man, he has his ovaries inside, but he has outside a testicle. So someone like that, people do not know how to explain the type of sex this person has or his sexual orientation. You don't know whether he's a homosexual, you don't know whether he's a heterosexual, you don't know whether he's a bisexual. So that's the confusion people have when they meet intersex people. They don't know. Sometimes they call them heterosexual because they are a woman, but they also are a man, so they call them homosexual. And so that's the problem intersex people face when you are giving them sexual orientation labels. It's a very hard thing to do to them. Then same to transgender people. You can be a trans woman but you sleep with women. You can be a trans man and you sleep with trans women. You can be a trans man and you sleep with men. You can be, so they have, it's also, transgenders are very weird because transgenderism is not a sexual orientation. I mean, it's not a sexual orientation. It is a sexual orientation, but it's a sexual orientation that goes to very many areas. Sometimes you can be Hold on, there is some business I'm doing here. We're coming back. All right, we're back. So, the what you need to know about Hijras is the. I mean, I was talking about transgender people, and unlike gay, which is homosexual, or lesbian, which is a female homosexual, a transgender just has to deal with their gender, but they can be heterosexual in their orientation, they can be bisexual in their orientation, they can be homosexual in their orientation. They are just similar to intersex people, only that intersex people are physically intersex, and transgender people are psychologically. But sometimes I think some people who are transgender are actually intersex, but it's very hard to tell, because remember what I always say, we are all intersex, we are all intersexual, but some are more intersexual than others. So I think for transgenders, they tend to have hormones. There's an hormonal balance that makes them want to be another gender, even if they were born with a penis. You see, the highest intersex is the one who has two sexual organs belonging to the two sexes, male and female. When you have a penis and a vagina, physically clearly seen, then you are a pure intersex person. But there are intersex persons who externally exhibit one sex, but internally they have another sex, or internally they have a weird balance of hormonal balance of the other sex. So that's what I think some transgender people are actually intersexually, internally intersex, or hormonally intersex, because all humans are hormonally intersex, because we both have estrogen and testosterone. But I think transgenders could be both hormonal intersex and internally intersex. That's why you find them feeling like, there are some transgenders who look very macho and they want to be women. Those ones I think are hormonal intersex, because their body is so masculine, but hormonally they feel like they should be a woman. Or sometimes they are not even hormonally, now psychologically they can feel like they want to be a woman. You see, that's a transgender. So it should be allowed, because psyche is natural, you know. Yes, it's not easy for a man to wear women's clothes. It takes a lot of courage to do that, and it takes a lot of courage, a lot of will to dress up like that. So you can, and then as I told you, the others, them for them, they are naturally or very 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 natural transgenders, in the sense that they look, their body shape and everything tends to be feminine. Like I was reading, when I was going through the Bibles, I was reading the Latin Vulgate, and I was comparing it to the King James version of the Bible, and I was comparing it to many. I'm going to do it later on in our queering science, theology, philosophy, and spirituality, where we're going to read all the verses, and you'll see something very connected, that the names they were using for the Hijras and the Sodomites are the same, and we're going to do that in the QSTPS channel. But for now, let us focus on our series the global third sex, and we'll be going through very many regions, but we'll be going through religious regions because religiously, all of these people have had third sexes. Even Christianity, that people think never had a third sex, Christianity clearly has had a third sex, and these are the eunuchs. They work in the kingdom of God, and Jesus Christ said it himself, and therefore Jesus Christ, if you translate what Jesus said in the Bible, he was actually talking about Hijras. So let us read the article. There are two articles I want us to read, and then we will be done, because today we are going to be reading about India. And this is the first one. I liked two articles here. Should I? Yes, let's try The Guardian. Then we're going to try this one, 10 interesting facts. Then we're going to read this, and then also this one, Asia, India. Okay. Now look at them. This is, can it open? Open sesame. Oops, there we are. Let's see what's happening to Trump. Okay. All right. Sorry, that one has not come out clearly. Okay, it's still frozen. Very frozen. So let's go to the other article. We won't read the one from The Guardian. It was a nice one. I like the one from The Guardian. So sorry, can't go and read it. We will read this one. All right, 10 interesting facts about Hijras and the myths surrounding the community. Over thousands of years, listen to that, thousands of years, Hijras, or the eunuchs, have secretly, underline that, secretly occupied a dominant position, underline dominant position, in the society. Regardless of the fact that they have many rights in the society, they are socially not acceptable to many in our communities. Underline that, socially not acceptable. For not being accepted by the society, they have created their own lifestyle and carved a space for themselves in the society. Worst physical assault to mental torture. Sorry, this is Pakistani transgenders' life till they die. However, they are very secretive about their lives and customs, which make people want to know about their lifestyle, livelihoods, origins, and traditions. So basically, Hijras are called eunuchs in English, and they have been occupying a dominant position in society. Yet, despite occupying that dominant position, they are not accepted socially. And this could be the reason why many people do not understand a Hijra. They really don't understand them. So for that reason, they cannot accept them socially, despite them having dominant position in society, as we are going to find. The Guardian had a nice article on that. But here, we bring you some facts about Hijras, India's officially recognized third gender. Rebirth of Hijras. Emasculation operation is often termed as rebirth for Hijras, which is like their own nirvana. After operation, they become a potent eunuch from an impotent male. The emasculation operation is carried out by the midwife, who performs it after receiving sanction from goddess. Once the operation is done, they have to follow an isolation period of 4 days. These 4 days involves extra care, special diet, sufficient sleep, and so on. So they go through their rebirth process is the emasculation process, which is their nirvana. You know, nirvana means the highest height of enlightenment. You know, and after operation, they now become a potent eunuch, because unlike, there are some people who don't, some religions and some cultures, when they know you're a eunuch, they don't like you. You know, they think you're a weak person, you are a person, like countries where they punish rape with castration, they think they have made you a weak person. Like what happened to Alan Turing. Alan Turing was castrated, and because of the castration, he became suicidal, and he committed suicide. I think he really loved his masculine power to such an extent that touching it was so annoying to him, and that's why he committed suicide. Sometimes I say I think Alan Turing was a pure top, because if you touch a pure top and you castrate him, he can really feel bad. That's why I encourage, but I don't force gay people to be one role. I encourage gays to be versatile, meaning you can be a bottom and a top, so that even if you get castrated, you can continue. You won't feel bad because you've been castrated. Because most men fear castration because they think it is emasculation, and this is a very big topic, especially in Black America, who their view of homosexuality is that it is an emasculating lifestyle, and it's not necessarily so. I will talk about Black America later on in this Global Third Sex series, and to destroy some myths that people have. They think that people are emasculated. No, emasculation is natural. There are people who are naturally emasculated. There are people who get emasculated as they eat foods that emasculate them. And there are people who, when they are castrated, they get emasculated. So it is understandable. They are, and that's what Jesus, I'm just saying what Jesus said, only in modern English. That's what he said. There are those who are born emasculated. Now, okay, we're already that. Then 2, the tradition, which is replica of marriage rituals in Hinduism. After emasculation operation is done, and once the 4 days of isolation period is over, the eunuch is made to follow a tradition. According to these traditions, eunuchs taken to a nearby water body for rituals, which is replica of marriage rituals in Hinduism. The eunuch becomes a potent eunuch after this tradition. Now, this is very interesting. This is like baptism. Now remember, Hinduism is the oldest religion. And this religion, in this religion, many practices in Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, and all religions that have existed, they follow Hinduism. Now, in Hinduism, you're taken to a water body for rituals, which is replica of marriage rituals in Hinduism. Now, what happens is that when you are immersed in water, you have got married, and you've become a eunuch. And that's what I'm saying. It's just like baptism. When you are baptized, you become one with God. That's why Jesus said, born of the water and of the Spirit, then you shall be born again. And when Jesus was baptized, That's why sometimes I used to tell myself, I think Jesus was maybe a eunuch. Sometimes, okay, people say he was gay, which is close to being a eunuch. And it could be so. Because when Jesus was baptized, he was immersed in water. And the moment he was immersed in water, the dove came. And then the voice came and said, "This is my son whom I love, and I'm well pleased in him." And then it is said that the Spirit came on him at that moment. So he was anointed, and then he went to the Spirit to the wilderness. The Spirit came upon him. So when that is like a born again experience, question people should ask themselves, and theologians. Sorry, I'm going to theology, but this is as mentioned it. When you are born again, to me, I believe when you get saved, or salvation, the so-called salvation in the evangelical world, it means you are married to God. Yes, that's why Jesus said that when he'll come and abide in you, and God will also abide in you when you believe in him. Or I'm so sorry, I don't have the Bible next to me, so I'm scattering the scriptures. So but what I'm trying to say is that the whole concept of salvation, or the personal relationship with Jesus Christ in evangelical and Pentecostal Christianity, or mainstream Christianity these days, they talk about having a relationship with Jesus. So this is uniting, and this is like having sex. It's union. It's love. I love Jesus. I love you, I love you, I love you. Yes, so these songs, you see, Hillsong songs about loving God, they are connected to this ritual. Because when you are immersed, that's why the Baptist church, when they baptize you, they tell you you're born again. When they put you in water, they tell you now you are one with God. Now you are one with Jesus Christ. And that's what you need to understand. So this is very beautiful that this ritual of being married has to happen at a water body, just like spiritual marriage in Christianity happens at a water body, especially John the Baptist theology. And even Jesus used to baptize. That's what I'm saying. When Jesus was being baptized, why was he baptized? Does this mean Jesus is lesser than God? Because the only people you baptize are sinners. Yes. Could it be that Jesus was a sinner? That's what I always tell people. There is a question mark there. Anyway, this is not theology. We'll do that in the theological area. Thank you, Hijras, for helping us out. These are their ceremonies. Look at her. And look at that man. You see, that man is very normal in the sense that he's straight, but he's enjoying her company. Most of their ceremonies originally have their roots in Hindu religion, but major aspects of their social structure are from Islam, you see. And majority of their leaders and gurus are Muslims, you see. So Islam also really practiced Hidraism, and it's called Muqtanan, if I can remember. But we will do the Islamic Hidraism later in another video. So, inspiring story of India trans woman. Sorry, this article is not done well. They are throwing things about. In 18th, 19th century, Hindu and Muslim Hijras didn't live together, but in contemporary India they do. So Hinduism and Islam never used to see eye to eye in the past, but presently they are seeing eye to eye today. Congratulations, that's a very good step, because Islam is mostly monotheistic and Hinduism is polytheistic, and Islam does not like worshipping many gods, and so they see Hindus as a problem. But what we have read here is very important. It shows you people are becoming more and more tolerant to each other. The monotheists are sitting with the polytheists. Now, their death procedures. Very few people know about the death procedures of Hijras. When a eunuch dies, his death rally is carried out in the night, and no one else other than their community is allowed to see the procedure. Wonderful. No one else other than their community is allowed to see the procedure. This is a interesting thing. Look at them mourning as a Hijra is going to die. And it's very interesting. I remember when George Michael passed away, and did you notice something? They refused to show us the burial. That was a Hijra. Yes, he was. In his gayness, he was a Hijra. Because I used to ask myself, I was waiting for the funeral. Because I said George Michael is a big man, He's a big gay leader. And I was wondering, when are they going to show us the funeral? And all of a sudden the family said, no, we are not going to show any. It will be a private funeral. And that could smell a rat that was a Hijra funeral. But this one is different. It's not necessarily like that. It's just a death procedure. When a eunuch dies, his death rally is carried out in the night, and no one else other than their community is allowed to see the procedure. The Indian transgender, it is believed that their funeral ceremony is sober. There are beliefs if someone else other than the Hijras see the procedure, he is born as one in his next birth. Yeah, this is a nice belief that if if someone else who is not a Hijra sees the death procedure, he will become a Hijra in the next birth. Because you must remember Hinduism, that we are always going through rebirth. We are always being born. We are always being born and born and born and born. So that's what's happened. So the dying eunuch is believed to have some divine powers. Look at this Hijra. You see? The dying eunuch is believed to have some divine powers, due to which eunuch would come, seek her blessings, and pray for her soul. When the other eunuchs come to know about one of their own's death, they would sit in the corner of her home and immerse themselves into prayer. Eunuchs around her pray for forgiveness so that she is born with a clear gender in next birth. So, because Hijra lifestyle is very complicated, the other eunuchs go and pray for forgiveness so that she is born with a clear gender. Because what does this mean? Hijras have an unclear gender. They do not know who they are. Sometimes they feel they're a man, sometimes they feel like a woman. And this is why some people never understood transgenders. They still don't understand transgenders, And I like Argentina. I always talk about Argentina. They had a law where they allowed transgenders to switch at any time, because that is transgenderism. You feel like a man today, tomorrow you want to be a woman, tomorrow you want to be a man, next time you want to be an intersex, so they don't know. It's a very complicated life, and it's stressful. Like Laverne Cox said it very well. When she was a he at an early age, people said, you're too girly. Then when she transitioned to be a lady, they said, but you're so manly to be a lady. And she just said, you know what, I've given up. I don't know how to please people. And I said in the video that no, she doesn't have to please people. That is her life. Yes, it's like an anti-clockwise. Everybody is going clockwise, but you are anti-clockwise. When people are going this way, you're going that way. If people are going that way, yes, that's how some people are sexually. Now, curse of Hijras. Ironically, their community is considered so bad that they turn up to places of joy, such as weddings, to take away everybody's bad luck. So, ironically, the community is looked at as a very bad or negative energy carriers. So their job is to attend positive energy events to suck up the bad luck from the people who attend weddings. Some people attend weddings with envy, jealousy. They look at the couple marrying and they just wish that the marriage collapses within 6 months, within a year, within 2 years. That's what people do in these weddings. So what happens? The community invites hijras to the weddings so that they can swallow the bad luck, because they are considered so bad. They are considered so bad that they have to go to a wedding and swallow the bad luck in the wedding. Now, they demand for cash from people and do not take no for an answer. People usually pay up quickly, afraid of bad luck, obscene gestures, and profane language. There is no option. It's either cash or cas. Cash or cas. So the hijras, they if you don't give them cash, they curse you. And I've seen this a lot in the sex worker community, especially in the LGBT community. And they demand, There's one made me laugh one time and said, I'm gonna, when the guy didn't pay him, I call him, but I think we used to see as a her. And she went on to say, okay, you're not gonna pay me, I'm gonna smash your TV. And the guy got so scared and removed money. So these are how hijras can behave. They cash or cas. And I like that. Cash, and then we remove the H, it's cas. Okay. Their partners and sexual life. Wow, look at that hijra. I like this one. Followed by, okay, that one. And then the middle fat one. The usual partners of hijras are men who consider themselves heterosexual and are the penetrative partners. So, usual partners of hijras are heterosexual. That's a very important point there. Hijras don't really date hijras. Hijras don't stay with hijras. Hijras stay with heterosexual men. And the heterosexual men penetrate them. And I think the reason why the heterosexual men penetrate them, it's a very weird relationship, because this hijra is dressed like a woman, but he appeals to the heterosexual man. So the heterosexual man comes and sleeps with this hijra because the hijra has turned him on. It's the weirdest thing. Of course, homosexual men are different. Homosexual men don't even like seeing feminine stuff around them. They want to be with a masculine man. That's why in the homosexual community, there's always discussions. We have discussions whereby you say, we prefer masculine men, men who are built. It's so weird. And there's sometimes people don't like femme tops. They don't like femme homosexuals because they feel like they are feminine. But for the hijras, they just sleep with heterosexual men because, and you see, heterosexual men have money because it's actually a societal thing. Homosexual men don't really have sex for money. They just love it. They just love fucking around. That's why there's the term fags, faggots. And a fag is someone, they can have sex even without being paid anything. But the hijras demand for cash. And they know heterosexual men have it. They have cash. And because of societal norm is that heterosexuals tend to be rich because they are not frowned upon. Homosexuals are frowned upon. So that's why they are underground. Now, most of them, some homosexuals are open, gay men, they are open, but majority are underground. So this is why the heterosexuals are penetrative. These heterosexual men are mostly married and keep affairs with hijras secret. They keep their affairs with Hijras secret. That's very true. And most married men do not want, because they know their wife, if she will not understand, she could be heterosexual. Very good movie we watched about Hijras. It was I think it was called Fire, the love of fire. It's from India, and it was showing this story, but this was more of lesbians, but the lesbians were living with a man who was married to a woman, and the woman was attracted to the one of the lesbians, and it was a very, very interesting movie. I think I'm going to post it, hoping that it's on YouTube. And there was a Hijra in the movie. All right. Even if they get married, the marriage is not considered legal in India, but now maybe it's going to become later on, but now it's not legal. Hijras in India often work as sex workers and are involved in prostitution. So that's why, because they are not allowed to marry, then they get involved in sex work. Their gurus are blessed with great powers. This is a guru. This older Hijra, and then this younger Hijra. Every Hijras or eunuch has a guru. Yes, every eunuch or Hijra has a guru who is believed to be blessed with a power of knowing everything about their disciples. So this guru knows everything about their disciples, the ones they are teaching how to be Hijras, how to be eunuchs. Because you have to be taught. People think that when you say homosexuality is natural, that you should not be taught, or heterosexuality is natural, you should not be taught. No, you are taught. This is why pornography is good. Pornography is a teacher. It makes you have better sex. It makes you learn how to be flexible. It makes you learn how to do well. So continue watching porn, those of you who are sexually active, and take care of your health, those of you who are sexually active. That's why we are very happy with the PrEP, because PrEP is to encourage negative people to have sex with positive people. Yes, it is okay, and we're very happy about that. So it is also believed that they even have an ability to foresee their death, which is only true if he originally is born as eunuch and not undergone the emasculation. Each Hijras respect their guru a lot and follow them. Now, this is a very important thing here, that the Hijra has the ability to foresee their death, but there is a condition. If you are a born Hijra, a born eunuch, then you will be able to foresee your death accurately. Of course, everybody dies, so anybody can foresee their death. How many of us have said, I saw myself dying, and then maybe it's this week, and then it doesn't happen. So many people have that, the premonition. There are some people who have a premonition of dying. So others don't have. Now, if you don't have, it could be that you went through emasculation. Now, remember, emasculation is at different stages. Never forget, the human body is always going through changes, very many processes. Some of them, like right now I'm talking to you, but there are processes happening in my body. Because I've eaten food, digestion is happening. And because I'm talking, my body is using parts of my body to make sure I talk very well. Now, emasculation can even happen yearly because of the type of foods you eat, Yes. Remember the guy of Kellogg's? He made cornflakes to make people not masturbate. Because masturbation, people who masturbate have a lot of testosterone. They have a sex drive, very high sex drive. That's why women masturbate just like men. Yes, because they have a woman who masturbates has a high sex drive. And I think men masturbate more than women because they have testosterone. Testosterone is a very important sex drive. You know, I want to fuck. I want to fuck. I want to fuck is stronger than I want to be fucked, because I want to be fucked is not so testosteronic. But if I want to be fucked is testosteronic, it is testosterone that is driving I want to be fucked. You know? That's why when the cow is on heat, it's like, even it gets on heat, you see? It's the cow saying I want to be fucked. But animals are very weird, because some animals want to be fucked, but a hen really doesn't look like it wants to be fucked because it always makes noise. Though I've seen very few hens that don't make noise when they're being fucked. Very weird, but we'll do that when we are studying animal sexuality. Now, so if you are not naturally a eunuch, born a eunuch, which is beautiful science I'm reading here. And you see, Jesus talked about Hijras. Yes, there is a belief Jesus went to India. According to theosophists, he went to India and he came back with lessons. And so, and when each Hijras respect their guru a lot and follow them. Okay, the rights of the Hijras, there they are again. Our friend is there back here. Do you remember him? Let's go back. Or her? No, they looks alike. Okay. Misfortune has been a companion of India's eunuchs. Because the country has historically recognized only two genders, Kinars has been deprived of the right to vote, own property, or go to schools. This article has funny things put on the side. So in 2005, India Passports Office allowed eunuchs to write E instead of male or female. They are now allowed to take admission in government school. So eunuchs and Hijras are companions of misfortune. They find themselves in very unfortunate situations. And it's because of their sexuality. They are not understood very well by people. So they don't vote, they don't own property because they are Hijras. They don't even go to school, because if they go to school, they'll confuse people. People will look at them and say, oh my God, what is this we're seeing? So that's what happens to Hijras. And Hijras as generals in Mughal's armies. This is another Hijra. Hijras used to work as women servants in olden days, apart from performing on wedding and occasions. Yeah, they like dancing and singing at weddings. These beautiful and sexy female supermodels. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. These things are coming up. They were kept as trusted lifeguards in female areas, and some even became generals in Mughal armies. Malik Kafur was a prominent eunuch who conquered the entire Deccan for Delhi Sultan Alauddin Khilji. So the eunuchs are good in war, and they are also good in guarding, and they're also good in guarding female areas. Like, when there are women around, they guard them from men who may want to come and sleep with them. And another interesting thing, the father of the US Army was a homosexual. That's very weird. Homosexuals are close, but they're not Hijras. It's weird. They are very close. They are like Hijras, but they're not, because they are complicated. Homosexuals are also complicated because not everybody is a homosexual. So they can't understand. In fact, it's hard to understand a homosexual because he looks like a straight man and he has sex with another man who may look like a straight man. And you'd wonder, how can these two have sex? They look so manly. Yes, they have. They have it. And women, same to lesbians. Two women lesbians, they look like twin sisters. And you wonder, how do these two have sex? Yes, they have it. They all have sex. So the father of the US Army was a homosexual. So it tells you sometimes these people with very unique sexualities tend to have very unique abilities. And this is what we have seen with the Hijras here that were generals. Good. Okay, is that the end of our article? I think it is. Let's close this and yes, it looks like it's the end of our article. But I don't know, it ended very weirdly. Yeah, there are 10 myths. Okay, I mean 10 facts, sorry. So Hijras as generals in the Mughal armies. Yes, so they work in armies, they work in the they work in the they work in the female areas, like salons. You find a man who is a Hijra. And I know very many people like that. Yes, it's okay. Very okay to be a Hijra even in this modern day. But the only problem is misfortune accompanies many Hijras. So that's a weird thing. All right, guys, let's go to the next article I liked on the Hijras. Okay, let's try this one. I really wanted us to go to The Guardian. It was very nice. India's trans women community, or Hijra, has been a part of the subcontinent for about over 4,000 years and being mentioned in ancient texts. The Hijra community is a testament to the sexual diversity that is integral yet often forgotten in Indian culture. While Indian law recognizes transgender people, including Hijras, as a third gender, other South Asian countries such as Bangladesh and Pakistan have recognized only Hijras as the third gender. This is even when the larger LGBT community faces severe legal disadvantages and when the same-sex sexual relations is illegal in the country. Okay, this is an old article because now same-sex relations is legal in India. The Hijra community has often been mentioned in ancient literature, the most of known which is Kama Sutra, and Hindu text on human sexual behavior written sometime between 400 BC and 200 CE. Very true. And then I like Richard Burton's version, the English version of Kama Sutra, or his preface or whatever he did. Hijra characters hold significant roles in some of the most important texts of Hinduism, including Mahabharata and Ramayana. And one of the many forms of Shiva, a principal Hindu deity, involves him merging with his wife Parvati to become the androgynous Ardhanari, who holds special significance to many in the Hijra community. Hijras held important positions in court and various facets of administration during the Mughal era India from 16th to the 19th century. They were considered to hold religious authority and were sought out for blessings, particularly during religious ceremonies. So there you are. You see, these are Hijras. Look at that Hijra. Has a leg of a man and a face of a man, but has breasts. However, when the Indian subcontinent came under colonial rule during the 19th century, British authorities sought to eradicate and criminalize the Hijra community through various laws. Yeah, you see, Britain was a Christian. I don't know why they didn't read the Bible that well. The Bible is very clear. Hijras are the people. Jesus supported Hijras. In fact, I have a feeling Jesus could have been a Hijra because he was baptized in water. And do you remember John the Baptist told him, I cannot do this to you. You are greater than me. And he said, you'd better do it or else. He threatened him. And he said, okay, let's do it. And he did it and he got married in the water. And of course, it's very interesting. Now, So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say the British, they came with their Christian understanding, or their maybe puritanical Christianity, and they banned anything that was sexually explicit. They banned them, and they made laws criminalizing the Hijra community. These laws were later repealed after India attained independence. They are Hijras, they're there. While the Hijra community is still revered by society at large and celebrated in religious and spiritual ceremonies, they are often the victims of abuse and discrimination. Violence and hate crimes are against the community are common, as is housing and other discrimination. The government has tried to address this by introducing bills for the protection of transgender persons, with prison terms and other punishments for those offending them. Yes, it's very important to help transgender people and protect them. And I remember this one who was paid very well here in Kenya because she wanted to change her name and they didn't want to do it. And she said, okay, I'm going to sue you because I am a transgender. And she got the court. I was very happy with the court. I was impressed by the court, that they had sober mind and a sober judgment to understand that a transgender is a transgender. And when their rights are denied, they feel bad because a name is very important. Yes, a name is very important. Good. Okay, that was not a bad article. I wish that the Guardian came on. It was a beautiful article. Okay, we're almost done, and we can go on with our celebrations of the Christmas holidays and the Saturnalia. Okay, this is the article I really, really wanted to read. Oh no, it can't be. It's so sad. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. How will we get this article? I know how to get it. There's gonna be. Let's try that N. I wonder what N is. I've never tried N before. Oh my goodness, it's never. This is Chinese. Okay. Not is it Chinese, South Korean actually. Yeah, this looks like Korean, not Chinese. Okay. We want to capture. Yes, coming. Sorry, as I'm busy trying to get this article. Okay, all right. I'm so sorry. This article has decided to um, uh, do a very. Let's try this one. Let's try it. If it doesn't go through, then I will leave you to go and do your own research. Okay, there it is. Thank you. We knew how to get this thing. Now, India's third gender claims its place in law. The history of the injury community stretches back to antiquity, but now, with the new Supreme Court ruling, India's third gender has finally got recognition. Homa Kalali. With the glittering saris, bright makeup, and reputation for Baudi songs and dance, Hijras, India's dance. Sorry, thinking about dancing. India's transgender minority are hard to miss, but this week, after years of discrimination, the community has finally been granted legal visibility. On Tuesday, of course, this is not our Tuesday, I want us to read Hijras, who can be eunuchs, intersex, or transgender, have been part of South Asia's culture for thousands of years. Eunuchs are celebrated in sacred Hindu texts as Mahabharata and Kama Sutra. They also enjoyed influential positions in the Mughal courts. When the British came, the community's fortunes changed, with the disgusted colonialists passing a law in 1897 classing all eunuchs as criminals. Can you imagine? It's so sad that the colonialists said that. Since then, many have been ostracized, either for cross-dressing or being intersex, and have gone on to form their own communities around a guru or mother figure to provide emotional and financial security. Yeah, it's very, this is so sad. It's making me mushy. I understand this because I see it a lot where I am. People looking for, I remember we used to have the mother of us all, and taking care, and we go and feel at home next to the guru. It's so lovely. Memories are made of this. Yeah, okay. Many even took to using a secret code language known as Hijras for protection. Yes, this is what happens in very many homophobic or transphobic areas. Like, I've understood the like in Nigeria, it's very, very serious, especially the gay clubs. First of all, nobody knows where they are. Secondly, you have to come with a code. Thirdly, getting that code means you are gay, and that's how it is done. Many, even, of course, we've read that. More recently, hijras have been used as an auspicious and have opened us to blessed celebrations such as marriages and births. Wow, that's true and nice. In India's largest cities, this has waned, forcing many to rely on begging or prostitution. Okay, you see, people need to understand something about culture and life and time. Culture never stays rigid. I always tell Africans, you are not behaving like the Africans of old. You are not. And your children will not behave like you, and your grandchildren will not behave like you, and your great-grandchildren will not behave like you, and the father, the great-grandchildren, the difference they are from you. Because time is transient. Every day, time is changing. It's a transgender. Time is a transgender life form, and maybe God is even trans, because God is time. Time is life. Yes, so time is trans. Trans, and it moves, it changes. Of course, not everything changes. Some things, like mountains, remain the same for quite some time. Some trees grow up and stay as a tree in one place for 600 years, 300 years. The sun is so old, and the moon and the earth is 4 billion years old. But so it's not, that's why you cannot really say the earth is trans. What is trans? What makes the earth trans is what's in the earth. But the whole idea of the earth is not trans. It is actually stable as being a mother earth. And the sun is also stable, though the sun can go through trans moments, in the sense that sometimes the sun is very hot, then sometimes there are very few photons, the solar flares, all of these things happening in the sun. So it's very interesting. What I'm trying to say is culture also goes through changes, because culture is it's a timed system. So all timed systems go through changes. All timed systems go through changes. So even culture changes. So Hijras used to have, remember what happened before the colonialists came? They were enjoying life. They were in the palace, you know. They were like the Sodomites in Israel who were in the temple. And then when the colonialists came to India, they were called criminals and they went underground. Because if you're a criminal in the colonial empire, you are arrested. And that time it was very, very, in fact, go and watch the old Indian movies, the old Indian footage. You'll see how they used to be arrested. Go and look at Indian prisons. They are not that nice. And that's what used to happen in the colonial time. Then the colonialists left. So the culture came back. But because people were so colonized, this is what led to many Hijras to become beggars or prostitutes. That is what you need to understand. It's unbelievable. So you see the effect of colonization or colonialism. It changes the minds of people about other people in the society. That's why homophobia is an import. It is not African. It is not original, because people have existed, Hijras have existed in Africa, in Asia, in Arab world, everywhere, even in Europe. They had Hijras in the church. So what happened is when now you're colonized, colonization is a programming process. They program you to behave like them, like the colonialist. So you are fed with the religion of the colonialist, and that one changes your thinking. So now, when your religion says that these people are bad, you will say they are bad. Yet, as I've told you, eunuchs are in the Bible. Yes, they're in the Bible. Jesus said that eunuchs are the servants of God. They are in the kingdom of God. And people are just saying, and yet you find people attacking homosexuals and transgenders, and they don't know they're attacking servants of God. But because they are listening to they have been colonized, they have been programmed to think like the colonialist. They think that they are right in the word of God. Actually, I have a feeling the English law, the British law, and therefore colonial law was actually it was like an English version of the Torah. And it was a very sad thing to be done to many British people who were Gentiles. Because, Israelis, even if you give them laws, they will not follow. Especially if it is going to hinder. Israelis they are free human beings. Yes, that's what the Bible shows us. They just are free. But there are some people, Gentiles, even Paul wrote this in Romans chapter 2. He looked at Gentiles, and Gentiles were more obedient to laws than Jews. And so he said, look at the Gentiles, they even do it better than you. And the Jews looked at Paul, they didn't like him because they were free. But Gentiles are people who are very submissive. They want to keep the law. And that's what Paul saw. And so what I'm trying to say is that the British law was the Torah. It was a British Torah. It was a Gentile Torah, and it was placed on Gentiles. And then the colonialists took this Gentile Torah to all the countries they went to colonize, and they punished people with this law, because the Gentile system is, when I say do this, you do it. And it's very clear. It's so beautiful. I'm just enjoying myself talking, because when you read the story of the Roman generals in the Bible, that's how it was. They give an order, it must be done. You see, that's the Gentile system. There is no discussing. So when the law is that you will not be cross-dressing, you will not be cross-dressing. We'll arrest you. Look at Oscar Wilde. He was arrested, the gay poet of England, because the law was a Gentile system. That's where they were. And I'm going to do another video one time about the secular Calvinism that I'm seeing in Europe. And it's because of the Gentile system. You see, the secular, but it's better. I prefer it because now they make positive laws. You know, a positive law is gay marriage is illegal. So that's what you need to understand, especially in the West, which is mostly Gentile region. In Africa, there's a mix of Gentiles and Jews, and yes, because majority of the Africans their genetic group is found in the Jewish nation, Israel. So there's that mix. That's why sometimes in Africa you find there's confusion. There are some people who behave like Gentiles, and then there are others who behave like Jews, you know. So this is very interesting. So I'm just enjoying this, that they think the culture changed to such an extent that the culture changed to such an extent that Hijras, who were very living in palaces, then became criminals, and then after the independence now became beggars or prostitutes. The effect of this dangerous work and the community limited access to health and welfare services can be seen in the staggering fact that HIV rates among Hijras stand at 18% in Mumbai, while the rate among the wider population is only, look at that, 0.3% against 18%. Are you seeing how Hijras really have sex? Yes. And I always tell people, homosexuality is not heterosexuality. Yes. Homosexuality is not heterosexuality. So, what do I mean by that? The sex drive in heterosexuality is not the sex drive in homosexuality. And the sex drive, that's why asexuals are a part of the LGBTQ spectrum, because they have a low sex drive. So how they express them, how they get sexually appeased is different from how a homosexual gets sexually appeased, and how a heterosexual gets sexually appeased, and how a bisexual gets sexually appeased. So just like there's gay psychology, bisexual psychology, transgender psychology, there is gay sex drive, bisexual sex drive, ally or heterosexual sex drive, lesbian sex drive. They are all different sex drives. I'm telling you, there's a lot of work. You know why we're doing so many videos? There is a lot of work. Yes, there is. And that's why we do videos like this. And so just imagine, just look at all of that, the sex drive. So it's no wonder Hijras, and there's a Hijra sex drive. It's not the same as the heterosexual one. You know, heterosexuals don't have a very high sex drive. Reason being, they only have sex for procreation, and if it's and because they cannot have pleasurable sex all the time because it can lead to many babies, they resort to other ways of sexual satisfaction. Sometimes that's why masturbation is good for a horny heterosexual, in the sense that if the wife doesn't want to give him sex, he can masturbate or whatever, because basically masturbation is still sex. It's self-sex, and you're satisfying yourself, and it has the same effects like when you've had sex with somebody, and there's no baby that is born from masturbation. And so that's what people can do. And of course, not only heterosexuals masturbate, even homosexuals. In fact, they do it. Homosexuals have a very high sex drive. That's what you need to understand. We are just horny people. We just want to have it all the time, you know. And that's what you need to understand. Good. Yet, despite welcoming the change in the law, Indian activists warn that not all transgender people feel comfortable being referred to as a third sex. Many prefer to be classed simply by the gender they have chosen as women or men. Campaigners out that more needs to be done to stop transgender people and Hijra communities from being criminalized, such as overturning Section 337 that makes homosexual acts a crime. Congratulations, it has already happened. And Bindiya Rana was the first transgender woman to stand as a provincial political candidate in Pakistan, says the changes in the law in her own country, which came into effect in 2012, have not been enough to change lives. In Pakistan, we are recognized and there's some jobs, mostly on 3-month contracts or NGOs, but not across the employment sector, she says. The government have not supported us. They haven't implemented the law, which I had more opposition when I fought in the election from politicians than I did from the public. Society in Pakistan is more understanding, more accepting, and supportive of us than the government is. We have claimed our space in the law, but we are not protected by it. So I'm very happy for Bindiya Rana. You see, you can be an out transgender. Yes. And you come out and you stand for political posts. And you come out clearly and you speak about your rights openly. You know, some people, I know very many gay friends and people. Don't worry. You are protected. I do not mention names here. They don't like talking about their sexuality in the open because they feel the pressure of homophobia. But what I do, personally, I am a very bold person. I'm loud, and it's because I used to be preaching a lot, and people always say, why are you so loud? I get very loud, especially when it's about my life. Oh my goodness. I really get passionate. So what I'm trying to say is very good. You go out there and speak out if you can do it. Speak out and stand for your rights, even if you're alone. You know, that's the greatness of that. All right, guys, I think we're done. And look at Guardian. They're disturbing me. They're readers. Okay, so they want, please make an end-year contribution today to help us deliver the independent journalism the world needs for 2019 and beyond. Support with as little as $1, and it only takes a minute. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, if you want to support them, support them. I like The Guardian. Not a bad newspaper. It's very interesting. Let's see the news as we go, as we finish this beautiful video about Hijras. And then we're going to do Hijras from the Muslim world, Hijras from the white world, Hijras from the black world. Okay, what did Trump do? Oh, he's still threatening. Oh, it's still going on live. Yes, shutdown. Very long shutdown. Oh, my goodness. He wants to build a wall, and China has told him not to do that. Oh, Trump. Okay, measles. Morocco. Okay, they had killed some Scandinavian women. Sorry about that. Germany. There's a reporter who ran fake stories. My goodness. Disaster. That one is a novelist. Mars Express. Gatwick Airport. There was a drone disruption. Reuters journalist arrested in Myanmar. Divine Justice. The Pope warns for clerical child abusers. UK operation on wrong testicle leaves 2-year-old boy castrated. You shouldn't feel bad. We've just read the story. We just read the article. Castration means he has become a potent eunuch. So let him go on and be sorry about that. Of course, the parents can sue if that's what happened. And it was not supposed to happen. They can sue the hospital, but the boy should not feel bad that he is castrated. It happens to very many young men, and he's now a potent eunuch, and he won't be important because I think, why did they want to do the testicle? It's a very interesting story, but we won't read it. We have okay, he's a Hijra. Temptations are true. Okay, let's go check. Let's check this. I want to see what happened to the boy. Bristol apologizes, hospital for mistake, as father says, surgeons have ruined my son. Our hospital trust has apologized to a family of a 2-year-old who will grow up infertile after surgeons operated on the wrong testicle. The boy was admitted to Bristol. Of course, he won't be infertile. As I said, stem cell reproduction has made everybody fertile. Yes. Because stem cell reproduction, you can create a sperm from this infertile man, and then it fertilizes an egg. Yes. Because stem cells are the cells that are the building blocks of specialized cells. They are general cells that lead to the building block of specialized cells like blood cells and sex cells like spermatozoa. So you can take your hair, and when your hair is taken and they go very deep inside, there are stem cells in your hair. Then they are withdrawn from that hair and cultured, and then they are shaped up to come into other specialized cells like spermatozoa. Of course, I'm going to do imagery teaching. We always have Rex Arthur's blackboard, and we're going to teach about stem cell reproduction properly. So the boy whose name has been to protect his son's identity they say the child's undescended testicle was discovered during a routine checkup. So there it was. He had an undescended testicle, and they castrated him, and now my son's future life has been dramatically changed. Yes, the boy's mother said, they broke my heart and they basically destroyed his future. No, mommy, they have not destroyed his future. Love him. He can still have children in stem cell reproduction. There is hope. And I don't know. Some people do not understand. I'm telling you, we have a lot of work. Jesus Christ, on a wooden bicycle, we truly have work to educate people about the realities and the new advancements in science. All right, guys, thank you so much. Goodbye.